Mr. President.
Senator from Missouri.
Mr. President, I'm proud to have a chance to speak in support of your fellow Coloradan, Neil Gorsuch, President Trump's nominee to be Associate Justice of the United States Supreme Court. Clearly, we all understand this is an important decision and an important institution. The Supreme Court is the only court specified in the Constitution and often the final arbiter of how the Constitution and the law is to be applied. In the history of the court, in the history of the country, only 112 individuals have had the honor to serve on the Supreme Court. And as we debate the qualifications and qualities of the person that's been nominated, and that I hope to see confirmed as the 113th person to serve as an associate justice or a justice on the court, it's really vital that we understand that we have a nominee that has a deep understanding and appreciation of the role of the court and the role that the court plays in our democracy. Judge Gorsuch embodies these principles through a lifetime of service, and he's really prepared himself in many unique ways for this moment. He graduated from Columbia University, where he was elected to the Phi Beta Capita and earned his law degree at Harvard Law School. After law school, Judge Gorsuch served as a Supreme Court clerk to two different justices, Justice Byron White and Anthony Kennedy. It's been pointed out that if Judge Gorsuch is confirmed to serve on the court, he'll be the first person to ever serve with someone that he was the clerk for, as he and Justice Kennedy hopefully have an opportunity to serve together. He went on after clerking on the court to a successful career in private law practice, spending 10 years litigating a broad range of complex trials and appeals. In 2004, just in case his Harvard law degree wasn't enough, he received a doctorate in philosophy from Oxford University. He was a Marshall Scholar. At every point in his preparation, he's been understood to be at the top of that preparatory activity. He has served his country in the Justice Department, working as the principal deputy associate attorney general. And then 10 years ago in 2006, President George W. Bush nominated him to serve on the 10th Circuit Court of Appeals. At the time of his nomination, the American Bar Association gave him the unanimous well-qualified rating. That's the highest rating. The Senate then confirmed his nomination unanimously by a voice vote. And Mr. President, the Senate today, I believe, has 11 Democrats serving with us who were part of the Senate that were part of that unanimous process. In a decade on the 10th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals bench, Judge Gorsuch has demonstrated a steadfast commitment to upholding the rule of law and interpreting the Constitution as its authors intended. I'm confident he will continue to adhere to the Constitution, to apply the rule of law, and to not legislate from the bench. I think he understands, as Justice Scalia did, that the job of a justice of the Supreme Court is not to decide what the law should be or what the Constitution, in their opinion, should say, but decide what the law is and what the Constitution does say. His keen intellect and devotion to the law are really well understood and appreciated throughout the legal profession. He has the integrity, the professional qualifications, and the temperament to serve on the nation's highest court. Mr. President, I'd like to insert in the record an editorial from the Denver Post earlier this week.
Without objection.
And I'd like to share a little of that editorial now, where the Denver Post says, "We are not afraid of a judge who strictly interprets the Constitution based solely on the language and intent of our nation's founders. As long as he is willing to be consistent, even when those rulings conflict with his own beliefs." As Denver attorney Jason Dunn, who considers himself a longtime fan of Gorsuch, explains in his views stem from This is that Denver attorney's quote, "from a belief in a separation of powers and in judicial modesty that is not in the role of the courts to make law. As Justice Scalia put it, if you like every one of your rulings, you're probably doing something wrong." That's similar, Mr. President, to what you and I heard Judge Gorsuch say last night, that a good judge doesn't rule based on what a judge would like to happen, but what the law and the Constitution insist does happen. Now, going back and continuing just one more paragraph from that Denver Post editorial, "A justice who does his best to interpret the Constitution or statute and apply the law of the land without prejudice could go forward to restore the faith in the highest court of the land. That faith has wavered under the manufactured and false rhetoric from critics that the high court has become a corrupt body stacked with liberals. And while Democrats will surely be tempted to criticize the nomination of anyone Trump appoints, they'd be wise to take the high road and look at qualifications and legal consistency rather than political leanings." And that's in the middle of that editorial that's now in the record. The Supreme Court is one of the most important legacies that this president's likely to leave. I think he made a very well-considered and right choice in selecting Judge Gorsuch to begin shaping the long-term view of the court. I look forward to hearing more from the judge as this confirmation process moves forward and to seeing him confirmed as an Associate Justice of the Supreme Court.